There is a suffocating phase in life where human effort stops making mathematical sense. You send out 50 applications, you make the calls, you show up early, and the return on your investment is zero. You hit what we can call the closed door, a psychological state where the exit from your current situation swings completely shut. A 27-year-old man named Arif collided head-on with this exact wall. When the shop where he had worked for years abruptly closed, he lost more than a paycheck. He was the sole provider for his aging mother, Amina, who relied entirely on him for shelter and daily medical care. At first, you think you will bounce back in a week, but days of carrying an old bag from storefront to storefront bleed into weeks, and weeks quietly decay into months. Every evening, Arif returned home to his mother, bringing nothing but another string of rejections.
The chronic rejection slowly drains your savings, but more dangerously, it begins to hollow out your self-worth. Arif was sliding past regular poverty into an absolute resource vacuum. With no incoming cash flow, no social connections to leverage, and mounting daily liabilities, your physical survival actually begins to look mathematically impossible. The math finally caught up to him on a Tuesday morning. Arif reached into his pocket and pulled out his entire net worth. He was down to a handful of literal coins. He looked at the money, and then he looked at his mother's empty medicine bottles. He faced an impossible binary choice for the day. He could take those coins to the market and buy enough basic rations to keep the two of them fed for 48 hours. Or he could buy Amina's rapidly depleting medicine, leaving them with absolutely zero food. He stood there weighing his own hunger against his mother's health. He chose the medicine. He walked to the market and actively prioritized his duty to the woman who raised him over his own biological need for calories. This sets up a fascinating problem. When a person is mathematically stripped of their resources and emotionally reduced to zero, how do they recover? What mechanism can possibly reverse a downward spiral when there is nothing left to leverage? Walking home with the medicine and a few useless coins left over, Arif passed an old man sitting exhausted on the roadside. He was a vendor, staring blankly ahead, with an entire basket of unsold fruits sitting in front of him. For Arif, looking at the vendor was like looking into a mirror, another person putting in the hours and getting absolutely nothing in return. Arif stopped. He reached into his pocket, pulled out the absolute last of his change, and placed it directly into the old man's hands, refusing to take any fruit in exchange. If we map this out on a 2D graph, his primary resource line is trending straight down until it flatlines at absolute zero. Under the laws of economic survival, giving away your last asset is entirely illogical. Yet right at the bottom, driven by raw, uncalculated empathy, a new vector splits off and shoots upward. The old vendor, moved to tears by the gesture from someone clearly struggling himself, placed a hand on Arif's head and offered a deep, emotional blessing. That reaction forms a new feedback loop. It is an unquantifiable return on investment that operates entirely outside the rules of material scarcity. People generally assume that you need a surplus of resources to be generous. The reality is that true transformative altruism often peaks precisely when a person has absolutely nothing left to protect.
But an emotional blessing doesn't put dinner on the table. That night, sitting on the floor of his dimly lit house, Arif finally broke. He looked at Amina and confessed his complete exhaustion, admitting that he had tried every possible avenue and could no longer control their fate. Amina looked at her son and offered a framework built on decades of faith. She told him that a delay in life does not equal a denial. When your physical effort hits its absolute limit, that is the exact moment you have to surrender the outcome to a higher power. Late that night, Arif raised his hands and made a dua, a prayer. He didn't ask for sudden wealth or a magical solution. It was a pure, egoless plea. He simply asked for enough provision so that he could remain a pillar for his mother. This physical and spiritual act of surrender does something important. It empties the cup of pride and the illusion of control. By admitting he had no power left, he made himself completely open to receiving grace from the outside.
The breakthrough arrived the very next morning. As Arif walked down the street, he heard a voice call out to him. It was the old fruit vendor. The man led Arif to a large, empty shop nearby. His son had abandoned the business months ago, and the old man couldn't run it alone. He offered the shop to Arif on the spot. The vendor saw how Arif acted when his own pockets were empty. He needed a partner he could trust, and Arif had proven his integrity at the exact moment he had the most to lose. That tiny interaction provided the old man with the only evidence he needed to hand Arif the keys to a new future. Arif spent the next few years mastering the business. Through consistent effort, he grew the shop into a success and eventually opened a second location, finally providing the stability he had prayed for. Then, one evening, standing outside his thriving business, he noticed a young man sitting on the curb. The kid was staring at the ground, wearing the exact same posture of exhaustion and despair that Arif had worn all those years ago. Arif walked over, asked the kid what was wrong, and heard a painfully familiar story about closed doors and constant rejection. Without hesitating, Arif told the young man to follow him, offering him a job and actively mirroring the exact grace the old vendor had shown him. We tend to think of goodness as a finite transaction between two people, but look at this network map. Empathy is kinetic energy. It enters the human network at one node and naturally transfers to the next. Arif ensured the vendor's trust created a ripple effect, compounding over time to illuminate an entire grid of human lives. We will all face the psychological terror of the closed door. You will encounter phases where the math doesn't work, the applications go ignored, and your resources drain to zero. During those periods, relentless practical effort is necessary, but it is not enough on its own. It has to be paired with unwavering kindness. You have to maintain your humanity precisely when the world is giving you every excuse to abandon it. The specific door you are currently crying over right now might be permanently locked, but it is entirely possible that it is locked on purpose, designed to force you down the hallway toward an entirely different, unseen path. When human effort ends, hope does not. As long as you keep walking and keep acting out of pure empathy, you never know which small sacrifice will be the spark that lights up the rest of your life.